You, how many months ago did you buy a Higgins boat?
Well, a little correction there. It was actually donated.
Okay.
It was donated, but it was in April. I'll tell the story. It's very interesting. So, um, a call to action was placed essentially on Facebook for someone to rescue this original World War II LCVP Higgins boat. And if you don't
Right.
know what a Higgins boat is, for everyone listening, it's an original World War II landing craft that transported the troops ashore, has a big steel door on the front that drops down and all the soldiers can come off. It's one of the most iconic images from World War II. And so when I first had this opportunity to acquire it, I was like, let's go, let's do it, because this is incredibly historic. It's a remarkable piece of history, and just seeing it sitting there in the field from the one photo that I had from the start was enough to get me to go forward. As my research went on, it got a little bit more difficult to get this thing here and actually acquire it. It weighs a lot, almost 18,000 pounds.
Wow.
It's 36 feet long by 11 feet wide. It's a massive, massive craft, and it's an oversized load on a truck, so makes it very difficult to transport.
Right.
And so we had the incredible support of so many people to make this possible. And in April, we did successfully move the Higgins boat from Texas, where it was located,
Hmm.
now to Florida, where it's being stored and waiting restoration to complete a complete restoration to seaworthy condition
Right.
in the years to come.
Yeah, on the photo, one photo you have, it's like it's standing outside. Did it endure all weathers there? Was it staying outside for most of the time before you
So
got?
that one photo that you see there is actually the first photo with it outside on like blacktop. Is That's a current semi-current photo from April. It's covered up now and everything, of course. But when we first found it, it was laying essentially on the ground. There was nothing holding it up. It was sitting on rotten
Wow.
wooden pallets, and so it was essentially dug into the ground in certain places, and that had to be lifted up, placed onto a trailer, which was probably the most difficult step because you couldn't get under it very well. So we had to find places inside the boat to lift it from and
Wow.
watch as it was lifted up and hope that it didn't fall apart.
I can
Because
imagine that.
the condition is not ideal, of course. A lot of the wood is rotten, but there's a lot still intact. The door is completely intact. All the prop and the rudder are still there. There's a couple internal parts as well that are still intact. Some of the chains and stuff that lower down the ramp. It
Wow.
was last being used in the early 1990s, the last time it was actually running in the water. So not that long ago. And It's going to be quite a project to restore it to seaworthy condition again, but I'm excited for it. And I know that we have a lot of people that are anxious to get working on it. And it'll be a pretty fun project for the years
Right.
to come.
Yeah, I remember you sending me a link that you were going to trying to get your hands on this boat, and that you also
Yeah,
sent
yeah.
a Google Maps link, and you saw the
Yeah,
boat
yeah. You can
in the
see it from
backyard.
above.
That was funny, and I guess everyone on the team was like, "Oh my gosh, is
Yeah.
he really getting a boat?" And we were like,
Yeah.
"How
Well,
many?"
that was my reaction too. I mean,
Right.
I was when I first saw it, people were talking to me, "Oh, we can just put it on a trailer, we can move it somewhere or whatever." But once we started to see and actually understand the true size of this move, just this one move to pick it up and move it a couple states, it got pretty difficult, and I had to
Hmm.
work pretty hard to make that happen. And of course, been supported by so many people, both here in Florida and over in Texas. And the coronavirus obviously did not help. I was not able to be in Texas for the lift onto
Right.
the trailer. I had to have other people out there doing it. And of course, I was here in Florida when it finally got lifted off on that tense moment where you can see the photo of it being lifted by that
Right.
crane onto the new location. And we've got a cool video coming out soon about that. We've got some
Ooh.
cool drone footage and stuff, and footage on the ground of the whole process. So
You can see the drone here on that picture too.
yeah, yeah.
That's funny. How, like, I mean, you might have said this, but I may not have heard. How many Higgins boats are still in the world?
Yeah, very few. As far as exact numbers are concerned, I have it right here. Um,
Because
I believe it's only 19 surviving in the world and there's only about 9 or so here in the States that are original Higgins boats. There's a lot of post-war, not reproductions, but post-war models. They were made with fiberglass hulls, so they're a little bit lighter. They're easier to maintain, easier to store, transport, all of the above. And of course, the World War II ones had a wood body. Most of it's wood, and that's something that I think people don't realize is that the Higgins boat is made mostly out of wood, and there's only a few metal components, including, of course, the big door
right.
on the front. So that was
Wow.
probably the most challenging thing, was getting it here intact with the whole wood rotting away essentially while it was
Right.
being lifted, transported. But it's stronger than we anticipated.